Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only, for I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
No, he bites his fingernails. Wait a sec. He uses a quality detergent to clean his hands. Poor decision as he handles plants and soil. Cries lots. Age lots. Still at university. Probably still unmarried. Probably still lives with his mother. So he's clearly actually upset about the death. It doesn't necessarily mean he wasn't involved. Interested about that it mentions the detergent. Yeah, I mean, it could just be that is the cleaning product that is here. Yeah. What have you got to say for yourself, Martin Hamish? Yeah, Martin. Inexpensive glasses. Dirty. Killer's elbows. Yes, you're very upset. I will feed you soon. We're looking at this man's gardener's hands. Give them back to the gardener.
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Always late.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
Would you unlock the doors for us?
Do you expect to find the stolen plants there? I am sorry, but those rooms are private.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our...
I don't know, he seems like a dick. Should we just... Yeah. Should we just pin it on him? Yeah. It might be fun to replay this game as just an evil Holmes. Just pinning it on somebody we don't like. He's very plain, works hard, neglects his appearance. Sadly, unlikely he has any female companion. Well, I guess we should go to that place that we live. Yeah. When I say live... Well, we should go to Scotland Yard and say, hey, this might be a murder. That's what I meant by the place that we live, but I meant the place we live in our hearts. Oh, we could go and look in the archives as well for these for those symbols. That too. Let's Scotland Yard it first. Then we can get this shit locked down. Where there's a yard, there's a way. That's the motto of Scotland. Well, there's a yard, there's a way! Yeah. That's my Scottish accent. What all of them sound like. Oh, there's no a yard, there is their homes. There is. Oh, then there's a way. Careful, Potter! There's been a murder! She's very piercing today. Oh my god, Professor. She's almost like a telephone. Autopsy. This is the autopsy room. No. This is the evidence. This is the room of the trays of useful stuff.
A feather pen of a good make.
Uh-huh. 3 letters to Mr. E. Wayne, Director of Wayne and Sons Printing Company. My friend, your posters for the great exhibition at Kew Gardens are very beautiful, but it is surely unnecessary to mention all of the staff. My name alone will be sufficient. Nice. Montague Dunn. Clearly a bit of a dick. Yes.
This watch is of great value.
I shall keep it. Club card.
A membership card for the London Crest Club.
Okay. So he's a fancy pants. Big fancy pants. And a bit of an egotist. Thinks quite a bit of at least his name. Oh boy! We got Chivos. Vox Popular, Vox Dead. What? Why have we only just got that?
First of all, let us carry out an external examination.
Sweet moustache. Is that a thing? Sweet moustache. Face. Let's peel off his moustache and see what lies beneath.
There is an injury to the skull, most probably caused by the fall in the water lily greenhouse.
Indeed.
The vessels and the pupil of the eye appear quite normal.
Good.
The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma.
Don't go smelling that, Holmes. Jesus.
That's weird.
No redness, stings, or bruises.
Uh-huh. What about this arm?
Nothing suspicious here.
Just a hand.
There are no
Chesticles.
suspicious marks upon the chest. Let us finish our external examination so that we can proceed with the autopsy. Now, let us examine the internal organs.
I don't feel we've examined the parts of him that I'd be interested in examining, like his shoulder, which hit the door, and the back of his head, where he may have been struck.
Now,
Oh, we're just
The lungs
pulling
are
those out, are
congested
we?
and edematous.
yeah. Congested and edematous. Oh!
The tissue on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged, most probably caused by toxins from an unknown plant.
Jesus.
Gross.
The plants killed him.
The heart's blood vessels show no pathological signs.
So, not a heart attack?
The heart
just means the heart
tissue
isn't
shows
pathological.
No visible pathological signs.
It's not lying. But yeah, so he didn't die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction.
Oh boy, this guy.
The liver tissue is brown. There are no visible pathological signs.
Turns out, very honest man.
Stomach.
The stomach
It's all green.
tissues show no visible pathological signs.
Definitely not what the colour stomach. So,
There is a small
Have
amount
you
of
seen
content.
stomachs?
It
yes.
appears that he breakfasted
colour are
lightly, only a short while before his death.
Oh, like, kind of everything in the body is kind of just like a pinky brown.
Pinky brown.
Just everything's
Suspicions
about the
have
same
been
colour.
substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kew
To be
Gardens,
fair, it's covered in
died
lots of
from
blood.
poisoning. Plant
Jesus.
to be more exact.
You mean
Yes,
Right.
it is murder.
we should inform Lestrade?
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge is mine.
The challenge, Holmes?
Bless you.
We need to locate
That's
that
an
deadly
Asian
plant.
cat.
Such a perfect murder appeals to me.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all we need to do?
No, we also have the people working at Kew Gardens. Martin Hamish and the son of the victim, Albert Dunn.
And also Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr. Hamish. Should we bring them all here for interrogation?
No, a few innocuous questions at Kew will suffice, as well as a discreet delve into their personal affairs. Yes, Watson, it is time now to open the doors.
Even those in the staff building. I suppose that is necessary.
You're right.
We should also be concerned with the
I
victim
zoned out for
himself.
most of this
After all,
Conversation.
we don't know very much about Montague
We're just
Dunn.
You're
assessing
enjoying this already, aren't
the
you?
suspects. And
More
we're
than
going to
a
look
little.
at all their shit in their staff
I'm
room.
gonna root through all their shit.
Show me your secrets. Do you want to look at the wine thing? Yeah. Poisoning.
Dunn was trapped and poisoned. Virulent vegetable poison. I mean,
Vegetal.
I would have preferred it if there's said like virulent vegetal venom, but it wouldn't have been right to call it a venom
That's probably why they didn't.
because venoms are injected.
Locked.
I'll say. Okay, so
Let's go to Backer Street and
Yes.
look up those signs, and then we'll explore the fudge out of those places. Nothing good. What are we looking for in the archive? Oh fuck, got loads of stuff to look for. Rare plants botany.
okay.
It's to do with plants. Newspapers. What's the other things I can look at? Encyclopedias. This might be better. Medicine.
Botany.
Botany. These plants have certain toxicity in common, more or less, Dinus carnivorous, Carlin inebriate, Florum. So just all of those plants.
I will not remember any of those names. Only
the first three can be dangerous to humans. Florum diabolica, only under specific conditions. The plant should react to the process of aggregation, against which it will issue deadly spores.
Here it is.
The process of... Huh?
I guess it's like punched or something.
Don't punch blood.
Symbol of broken pot. Okay, so this one we can do.
We're looking for symbology, aren't we?
Divine Scholastic Syndicate for Vegetation Veneration. The members of this syndicate worship Tree One, the God King. They strive to obtain spiritual peace and release themselves from the material world, so generous donations are appreciated.
Here
That's
it is.
nuts.
The Divine Syndicate is not a supplier to Kew Gardens. Besides, there is no address here.
Okay. And this one, we should look at London Garden Supplies.
Yes.
Seymour's Garden and Equipment Supplies. We are a premium supplier for your landscape gardening and timber requirements. Full range supply and delivery of sands, poils, mulches, pots, anything you need. 3 Bolton Road,
Here it
London.
is.
Address.
Okay. Right.
Alright, so there's a lead.
So we know that some plants are dangerous. Find the stolen plants, find the plant that's used to kill him, inspect the buildings.
Okay.
Well, let's go to Kew Gardens then, I guess.
Yeah.
Can we make any more deductions? Poisoning, deadly plants stolen.
Ah.
The killers may be those who stole the exotic plants, including deadly species. No more clues as such.
Should find out if there's any, like, rival botanists.
Tell us all about the botany.
Tell us your secrets, old man. Confess!
Kyle.
Whoa, so many questions.
Empty colonial.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
It's not a very big garden.
Tell me.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression. Great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
So he was a dick.
And you
Yeah,
didn't like
massive dildo. What sort of lifestyle?
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say. He was a member of the London
So he was an
Smart Set.
alky.
He was
I know.
famous for it. That and
And
Buggery.
he had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
2, I'd say.
At least.
Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was never interested in Kew Gardens before, and now all of a sudden he is trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take over the management here. He'd do better to leave that to me. He has no experience. No, none at all.
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was.
Oh yes, he forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him. asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
What a dick.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
That's
Yes,
what
he
it
was
takes
crushed
to be a
and had to
father,
leave.
though.
Everybody was making
Making
fun of
children
poor Albert.
strong and cool
That
for
is,
a long time.
except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
I reckon that Dad was having sex with Margaret White. Maybe. And Albert was really sad
You mentioned
about
a
it and
Miss
killed him.
White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who
I reckon
works
she
here
hated
part-time.
the sex and
She
killed
is
him.
quite charming indeed.
Quite
She possesses
possibly.
a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so...
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And he... why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
No, I don't
No,
mean
I do
insectivorous. Insectivorous snake.
Are you aware of the Divine Syndicate?
The divine what? Is this a joke?
No, I am quite serious.
What a ridiculous name. Anyway, I have never heard of this syndicate.
I don't believe you.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
He was like, what?
Open up your office, man.
Need to get Albert to do that.
Oh.
He's
Well, somebody do it.
Oh, I've fallen down the ladder. I've hurt myself.
My ankles and knees.
Oh, my weak eye.
Oh, I hate
My
it.
weak
when
childlike
they're all-
ankles.
Who
when
is
they're all
Miss
bashed.
Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large
I
glass house.
know. I tried to go in there.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah, at the moment I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
No one knows nothing about nothing.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes, I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens. And I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Fine.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? That is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee.
This guy's a
In
dickhead
fact,
as well.
if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I
I
share
really-
his passion.
And I hate this place.
And
The
how
plants
is his
too.
relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Yeah, still sounds like a dick. Yeah.
Tell me, have you ever heard of the Divine Syndicate?
No, I cannot say that I have.
Believe him more.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Privately guilty.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again
Let's
soon.
go to the office. What's happening, office man?
Let me in.
His I, Sherlock Holmes. Champagne.
Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste.
Perhaps he wasn't so bad after all.
Oh no.
French wine.
French wine.
Remarkable vintage.
Must have been a dickhead.
Perhaps we should have been friends. Times.
Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
That's pretty cute.
The Kew Gardens seem pleased to announce the successful production of the new variety of barley, one that retains complete resistance to the cold. They've named it the Siberian barley. Mr. Martin Hamish, the proud cultivator of the graft, will hold a press conference next Monday upon the very subject. Oh, and he was annoyed that they mentioned someone else's name in the paper. Because he was a dick who didn't like to share anything. My dearest Margaret, following our last conversation, I believe that it might be better if you vacate your position here at Kew Gardens. As you point out quite bluntly, you're no longer in need of my support. You are quite able to stand up for yourself in this world, as you say. Well, I give you back your freedom and wish you nothing but good luck, Montague Dunn. So she's gone, I don't fancy you, and he's gone, well, fuck off then!
So nobody likes anyone?
No.
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish.